Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Ignite News. I'm Graham Newark.
And I'm Andrew Cameron. Our reporters have been covering numerous events this month, including the Hamilton Day Market and the Model Train event.
Let's take a look. Collecting model trains is a hobby for people of all ages, and an event in Ancaster drew in quite the crowd. Kimberly Yvonne has the story.
The Hamilton and Ancaster Model Train Show arrived in Merritt Hall at the Ancaster Fairgrounds on the morning of November 13th. Inside the building, a large model train diorama was set up for viewing, and further down the hall, visitors could find a smaller selection of sellers with a variety of products.
We are selling a lot of vintage model trains, mostly in what would be considered O gauge. Everything from Lionel brands to old brands called Marks, and a little bit of peppering of other sizes in between. Most of this stuff hasn't been made in probably 70 years, so.
With a rough total of 150 seller tables, the majority could be found in the Michael Emick room. Folks could find plenty of vintage items to add to their collection or pieces to use for restoration projects. For rare pieces that are harder to find in retail stores, the chances of finding it here instead were pretty high.
You can't go to the hobby shop anymore and say, okay, I want this particular piece. They don't have it anymore because a lot of companies they do 500 pieces and that's it. Once they're out, they're out. So if you don't pre-order stuff in this world, you don't get it. So here's a chance to get it.
For those looking to create a realistic diorama, also known as a layout, it requires multiple elements, including miniature set and landscape pieces to bring it all together. Many vendors showed up to sell a variety of these pieces.
We have trees, we have, hedge materials, we have anything you need, people, cars, animals, dogs, horses, pigs, whatever you need to make a model layout.
If you missed your chance to explore these collectible pieces, another event will be held in June on Father's Day weekend. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Kimberly Yvonne.
There's lots of shopping opportunities around the city of Hamilton. Whether you're on Concession Street or maybe you're downtown at the Hamilton Day Market, there should be a special item that should suit you. Malika Aldrich has the story.
The Black, Indigenous, and People of Color Market, also known as the BIPOC Market, made an appearance at Afrolicious Restaurant in downtown Hamilton. The event was hosted by Black-Owned Hamilton, an organization that supports BIPOC businesses in the greater Hamilton area. People were greeted at the door with a smile and a tote bag for shopping. Afro-Caribbean music played throughout, while people visited 7 different vendors. Some of the vendors were selling jewelry and fashion items that people could try on, while other vendors were selling skincare products and household items. Not everyone at the event was a Hamiltonian. Niagara Falls resident Prophecy Beulah says that she was proud to see a market featuring BIPOC businesses.
I was really excited to come in and see what they had, and I'm my expectations are met because there's so many beautiful things that they have, so many Black businesses, and I'm just proud to see what we're doing and how we're becoming entrepreneurs and inventing and supporting ourselves and supporting other people in the community. So I think it's great. It wasn't expected, but I loved it.
African foods and cocktails were also available at the event, along with a seating area to eat your lunch. People looking for a quick snack could try samples of Biko's Walking Nachos or satisfy their sweet tooth with some cookies. Co-founder of Black-Owned Hamilton, Alexandria Montague, explains why it's important to support BIPOC businesses.
So it's important to support the local businesses here, especially Black-owned businesses, because there's a lot of different barriers and systemic issues that kind of hinder the success of Black-owned businesses. But with organizations such as Black-owned and B-Market, we're making sure that they are showcased, celebrated, highlighted.
Black-Owned Hamilton will be hosting another event at the Holiday Night Market on December 10th. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Malika Aldrich.
Concession Street is a vital district connecting the downtown core to the Hamilton Mountain. Known today as a shopping district, Concession Street has a long history according to Alexis Chavez, Concession Street BIA Executive Director.
Rich with history beginning in the 1840s with an early Black community on the Hamilton Mountain. They kind of helped, create what is now known as Concession Street and kind of the Hamilton Mountain. The Juravinski Hospital, as it's now known as today, it used to be the Mount Hamilton Hospital, then the Henderson Hospital. But yeah, now it's known as Juravinski Hospital, and it's a cancer clinic.
Chavez, who grew up on Concession Street, has a deep connection to the community.
I've spent so many years here, and I spent a lot of time on the street when I was growing up as a kid. Like my pediatrician was on the street. She's still here, actually. And both my grandparents battled cancer at Juravinski. And so we spent a lot of time on the street as a family, walking up and down, visiting the mountain brow, even all the shops on the street.
Even though big businesses have moved into the community in recent years, Concession Street is known for its small business. Flashbacks, located on 411 Concession Street, is a store which sells antique vinyl records. Owner Chad Silva shares why Concession Street is an important district in Hamilton.
I'd say what makes Concession a very important district is that it kind of hits all things. When you're going out, there's a lot of restaurants, there's a lot of stores, there's places that you might hit in between. So it's a place where you can just come, you can lose yourself, you can spend a couple hours here, and then eventually make your way back home again and do it all over again the next day.
For more information on all things Concession Street, visit www.concessionstreet.ca. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Sam Smay-Robbie.
A coffee house in Upper Gage allows you to bring your dogs with you, so there's no need to leave them at home. Caitlin Charbonneau has the story.
Laughter, chatter, and barks could be heard coming from Munchie's Coffee House and Barkery at 1000 Upper Gage as dog lovers gathered for the weekly Pack Walk and Talk event. Munchie's Coffee House is the first dog-friendly eatery in Canada featuring delicious food and an area where both dogs and their owners can have fun and relax. Gary James and his wife Rose own and run the coffee house along with Hammer City Paws Dog Rescue. Many of the familiar wagging tails seen at the event are rescue alumni.
And we've saved hundreds of dogs from Texas, LA, of course, a lot of local surrenders as well. They would arrive here at 4 in the morning and we would have all our volunteers and fosters ready to go. It was quite the operation to see it actually all go down.
Lorraine Callowill is a longtime foster for the rescue and brings her 2 Hammer City Paws pups with her to the event every week.
It's a great organization to foster for, to do it. It's just an amazing thing. It's hard to say goodbye to them, but they're going off to a good place.
Belinda Martina and her fluffy friend Obi haven't missed a walk in 2 months.
We've been bringing Obi here since June, and he has a great time here. He's met so many friends here, and we started the Pack Walk here every Thursday for almost 2 months, and we haven't missed a day, and we love it. He has so many good friends here.
What's better than spending your day with your furry friend by your side? For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Caitlin Charbonneau.
Our reporters have covered quite a few sporting events this month, including the Super Saturday basketball game at Mohawk and the Rowing Brigala in St. Catharines. Graham Newark and Cassie Apperlew have the story.
November 5th was Super Saturday for the Mohawk Mountaineers, an entire day filled with showdowns between the Mountaineers and their longtime rivals, the Redeemer Royals. The Mountaineers took home 3 victories in women's volleyball, and men's basketball, but fell to Redeemer in the women's basketball game. The event drew quite a crowd as the games coincided with Alumni Weekend. Mohawk College employee Augustus Chertotti helped set up tables of discounted Mountaineers merch for the excited onlookers.
We'll be setting up these tables with all these leftover shirts because we were going to take advantage of the alumni weekend. So we're just trying to get rid of all of these clothes while There's people still in the college watching the games.
Others were just happy to be back on campus for sports. Mohawk student Gage Babin says the event was a great morale boost for students coming out of 2 years of lockdowns.
I think they're great for student life because we've been cooped up for so long with the pandemic. It's nice to get out and watch live sports again and participate and kind of be a part of something. So.
For more information about each team's schedule, visit mohawkmountaineers.com. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Cassie Apperlew.
In early November, rowing teams from major universities across Canada came together in St. Catharines at the Neil Campbell Rowing Centre located on Henley Island to compete in a series of time trials. Taking first place in the event were the Brock University Badgers, which many saw coming as the event was being held on their own well-practiced waters. The event was held on a sunny day, but it quickly became windy and resulted in choppy water. Peter Summerwill, the head coach of the Badgers, knew this would make things harder on the athletes.
We knew it was going to be a windy day, and for the most part, most of the racing was done before it got really bad. The last two races were definitely the roughest.
Finishing in the middle of the pack were the University of Guelph Griffins, who got really wet when they were trying to paddle back upstream. Lars Dutfield Hughes, a member of the team, felt he may have gotten the worst of it.
It was pretty nice out, but it was so windy that it made the water like the choppiest I've ever rode on so far. And so it, felt like we were in a pirate ship. And like even at the banquet at the end of the event, they joked about Saturday being like a surfing championship, and then Sunday was a rowing championship. So it was so like there was white caps and waves going like above the lip of the boat and stuff. It was just insane. So
the competition may now be over, but these athletes are working to perform even better for next season. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Graham Newark. An old tire garage went through a renovation and became a culture hub in St. Jacobs. Oliver Hunter has a story.
About an hour from Hamilton, St. Jacobs attracts many tourists for its beauty and unique shops.
In the beginning it was called Jakobstädel, that's German for Jacobtown, because there were German people here. And it was established by Jacob Snyder, and for Jacob in the name.
One of the stores, the Three Sisters Cultural Center, used to be a tire garage and now is a creative industries complex that provides a space for both artists to show and sell their work and for community events, such as workshops.
We started the renovations on this place just as the pandemic started in the spring of 2020.
The place has both rooms for the local artists, where they can display and sell their pieces, and a place for general events that people can rent.
Each one of those studios has a sink, a window that opens, and a door that locks, so the artists can feel secure. And each one of these artists have given us permission to sell out of their studio when they're not here. So if you see any art there that you like, I can go into their studio and make a sale for you.
With a variety of art styles, the place has been open to the public since April this year. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Oliver Hunter.
Now, let's meet an artist who's been doing it all. Through the pandemic, working as a chef, and grad school applications, Gavin Rees hasn't lost his passion for music. Cassie Apperlew has the story.
I'm a musician, and I'm a cook, and I'm currently applying to grad school at the University of Toronto. My parents got me a drum set for Christmas one year, and that's kind of what started it. In new time. My dad, I sang If I Fell by the Beatles for him one day, just like a cappella in the living room. And his immediate, he was crying after, and his immediate response was, maybe you should stop drumming. And then we went out a week later and he bought me a guitar. I started working on my own music, and I released a 3-song EP in 2020, and then I've done all of the demos for a full-length album. It's just I've kind of just only ever worked in kitchens. I've only ever been involved in kitchens. I tried branching out like twice and it just like completely failed. I have always, I don't want to say suffer, but I've always had to deal with ADHD, and it really, it's difficult to do a lot of daily jobs, like desk jobs, things like that when your brain functions like this. So I don't know, I think I just like kind of found my place in kitchens. I love the stress. I have so much fun. You don't have to worry about how you look or how you act, and you know, I've worked with so many people who are just so unique, like people who I would never be friends with outside of a kitchen, and you know, we just go in there and it's like the camaraderie and teamwork. 7 trips around the sun. Having ADHD, for me, music was like an escape, kind of. And they all feel the same. I could get sucked in for hours, and it was easy to focus. You know, it was I don't know why or what it was, but yeah, it was definitely a lot for me, especially in the beginning when I was like trying to figure out what was going on with me.
And before we wrap up our final show, the holiday season is just around the corner, and people will probably be indulging themselves in delicious Christmas treats. It's very important that you check the ingredients in any of the food that you eat. This documentary by Mohawk College journalism students highlights the dangers of food allergies.
For most people, trying new foods is an exciting experience that can lead to finding new favorites. But not everyone has that luxury. For some, trying something new could be a matter of life and death.
On their website, they don't have anything about allergy or nutrition at the bottom, which usually you can find. They just have their menu, and yeah, that's just super frustrating.
Searching for allergen menus is just one part of living with an allergy. From scrolling restaurant sites to taking precautions while cooking and baking, adapting to living with allergies can be a challenge. For Ryan Klepax, his peanut allergy became more important with age.
When I was younger, I didn't really have an awareness of it, so I just had to hope and trust that my mother wasn't going to feed me something that would leave me dead on the floor. But as I've grown older and I've built that awareness for it, I've certainly had to pay attention to ingredients on basically every single piece of food that I buy from a grocery store. Even things that you wouldn't expect to have peanuts in it somehow find themselves having peanuts in it.
Cooking with allergies is tough. I know the struggle all too well with my tree nut allergy, especially when going to restaurants.
I need to know what they have and what they use, so I always go online and I check and stuff, but a lot of the times they don't even have allergen information. And it's really frustrating trying to go to any sort of bakery or any place with baked goods, because my allergy, which is tree nuts, has typically a place in a lot of baked recipes. So I end up doing a lot of baking at home, which is fine, but for example, this box makes 25 rectangles of Nanaimo bars, and I just want one. So I have to make a huge thing, and it's just takes a lot of time, and it's a lot more convenient to go to bakeries and just buy the stuff that I want, but a lot of times I can't do that.
Sarah Mastromateo, who previously had a shellfish allergy, also took caution in restaurants when needed.
I was always very aware of things. I wouldn't get things that would maybe be cooked in a wok, because all wok items would be cooked together. So there could still be trace shrimp, clams, of seafood of any kind. So I was very, very careful to eat things that would be unlikely to be cross-contaminated.
As an avid baker, Master Mateo knows the steps she has to take to ensure people can comfortably enjoy her dishes.
There's no way that you can guarantee that things have not come in contact with trace peanut, trace oils. I would say that having a food allergy myself for the longest time, I am far more willing to work around people who have allergies or any concerns. And I'm also very, very diligent to let people know if there's the possibility of cross-contamination, because we're not a nut-free house. So there are potential allergens here, and I wouldn't want anyone who was, quite deathly allergic to something to be cross-contaminated and have that happen. For the home baker, it is virtually impossible to guarantee that you're nut-free or you're allergen-free.
An important part of staying safe is labels. Klepak says he's frustrated with the way allergens are listed on packaging.
Sometimes it's in the middle of the ingredients box. Sometimes it's, there's a little no peanut symbol on the front, which is great. But there needs to be some kind of standard for all allergy stuff on ingredients, because we're always left guessing. Anybody who has an allergy, where is it on the box?
I personally just want to feel safe and not ridiculed. I just wish people without allergies would be a little more considerate. That's not true for all people without allergies, but I've had some pretty bad experiences with people who don't have allergies not really understanding, just telling me to be less dramatic, telling me to calm down about it, especially in restaurants with the staff and everything. So I just wish people would understand that I'm not trying to be an inconvenience, I'm not trying to be annoying, but I just don't want to die. Master Mateo says people are more considerate of allergies now than when she was younger.
I think people are getting better. I think back in the older days, back when I first was diagnosed, it was viewed more often as you just don't particularly like that food. Why don't you just say that you don't like it, you don't want to eat it, as opposed to, no, I'm actually allergic to it and this could potentially be deadly. I think now, because people have had reactions that are really, really bad, I think people are far more understanding and a little less judgmental about it.
Food allergies are something people have to live with every day. If someone tells you they have a food allergy, believe them. We want to enjoy things too.
Thanks for tuning in to our third show on Ignite News. I'm Graham Newark.
And I'm Andrew Cameron. Stay classy, Hamilton.